Well, hello loves, and welcome back to Musey's Modern Dreadfuls. I hope you're all doing well. I know it's a sad and scary time for a lot of us. So instead of being depressed and angry, I thought I would get on here and entertain you with part 5 of me, Mizell, and Inspector Hole in the Face. I couldn't move an inch. I had to watch it. Had to register every one of those hits until finally there was nothing left of his face to hit. Just a hollow crevice where there used to be a face. Then the inspector got to his feet, turned to Mizell and me, bowed theatrically, and disappeared into the forest once more. "You saw him too, didn't you?" I muttered to Mizell, slumping to the ground next to him, my head spinning, stomach churning. Yes, he whispered. "Yes, I saw him too." He hugged me tightly, tears streaming down his face. He was so pale. So deathly pale. I embraced him as tightly as I could, but I was starting to feel extremely lightheaded. I don't remember much after that. Just darkness and screeching noises and swirling black holes. "Harold!" my mom yelled to my dad. "She's awake!" Every bone in my body was hurting as I sat up in my bed. I was still wearing the same clothes, dirty and stained with blood. My head was still spinning, and it took me quite a while to gather my senses. "What happened?" I muttered as my dad came into my room with a glass of water. "You came home like this." My mom stroked my hair gently. "You didn't make any sense, crying and screaming, covered in blood and bruises. We were so worried, Sarah, so terribly worried." I gulped down the whole glass of water in one go and handed it back to my father. "Inspector Hole in the Face," I whispered. "He hurt him. He killed him." "Not another one," my father sighed. "This has to stop, Sarah." "Shut up, Harold." My mom pointed to the door. "Leave us alone." My father sighed again and shrugged as he left. There was this expression on his face I couldn't quite identify, like a mixture of sadness and disappointment, but also fear and worry. "He isn't real, Sarah," my mother said calmly. "There is no such thing as an Inspector Hole in the Face." "He is too!" I demanded, grabbing my notebook from my nightstand. I presented to her the drawing I made of him the first time I saw him. "This is how he looks. I've seen him. You have to believe me." "Oh, God!" my mother exclaimed, a look of shock on her face as she flinched at the sight of him. "I really thought you were doing better this time." She started crying. Long, pained, convulsive sobs. I didn't know what to do, so I just held her tight in a hug. After a while, she got up and grabbed a faded box hidden in the back of my closet. It looked vaguely familiar, but I struggled to place it in my mind. That's not Inspector Hole in the Face, she said as she dried her tears and looked at me with sorrow in her eyes. She opened the box, and she beckoned for me to take a look at its content. That's your brother. Within the box were dozens of drawings of Inspector Hole in the Face, each and every one impossibly identical. No, that's not my brother, I murmured, frantically going through the drawings. It can't be. He's dead. My mom just stared at me, tears rolling down her face. Then she nodded softly and turned her gaze to the door, letting out an exasperated sigh. Sweet boy once. I guess that's why we didn't see it. Refused to see it. There was a darkness in him, you see. Like a cancer of the mind, of the soul. And we should have caught it, you know? There were signs, but we just didn't know how to interpret them. I stared at her blankly, not knowing how to react. I remember my brother, didn't I? I was sure of it. There was this one boy, Freddie Purcell. You know him, a couple of years older than you. Anyway, your brother took it out on him the most. Bullied him, called him names, and also hurt him. Broke his nose once, sprained his arm. Horrible stuff. Singled him out, tortured him daily. My mom lowered her head. Tears dropped from her eyes down to the floor, soon forming a small pond. He did things to animals, too. We didn't know until after, but your father found them in our backyard, slaughtered and buried. We should have known, Sarah. We should have realized sooner, helped him, stopped him. She took my hand and held it tightly in hers. One night, your brother snuck out. He must have woken you up. You know how loud and creaky that door used to be. You followed him. Don't know why, but you did. I guess maybe you saw it too? Maybe you wanted to help him? She looked at me with a slight, pained smile. He went out to the Purcell farm. I guess he'd planned it for a while, because he brought the hammer with him. Broke the lock to their barn, you know, where they keep the rabbits. Freddie later told the police he woke up to the screeching sound of the bar door opening up and snuck out to check it out. What he found inside that barn? What your brother did? Oh, God. What? I asked. What did he do? He killed them all. My mom sobbed. Every rabbit in that barn. Smashed them over the head with a hammer until the hammer broke. Freddie surprised him, But your brother was older and stronger. So they fought and fought, rolled around in that barn. Until what? And with that is the end of part 5 of Me, Mizell, and Inspector Hole in the Face by Hyperobscura. And if you think the final twist, we've figured everything out, is over and done with, you'd be wrong. So you want to come back for part 6. There's enough for one more video. And I like to keep all the, when I'm doing it as a mini-series, keep the surprises coming. Cliffhanger. And luckily, Hyperobscura is such a great writer that you think you know everything, and then boom, 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 and it all comes naturally. So instead of focusing on anger or worry, I am trying to entertain you, and I hope you are entertained. Look for part 6. It will be out soon. Yippy-Ki-Ya, Musey-Lovers. Hang in there and let me entertain you. That's all I can do for now. Anyway, love to you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.